Now you're going down there after they put up a big win against Baker. It's going to be I won't say must win, but a win is very much needed indeed, not only to keep pace with the top of the table, but to maintain that high position, because you're starting to get to that point of, yeah, we want to do good in conference. We also want to get to that national tournament, and you have to start balancing that and getting those wins that you need to get as a ranked team in the NAIA.
Yep. Key for this team to not let one loss turn into two on Saturday afternoon. That'll wrap up our women's broadcast. I want to thank my partner, Justin Burris. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back in about 15 minutes and get you set for the men's contest between William Penn and Clarke. You're watching William Penn basketball on the Statesman Sports Network. welcome back inside Penn Gymnasium. William Penn and Clarke getting set to go in men's basketball action here in Heart of America Athletic Conference action. Both of these teams come in winners of 7 of their last 8, exactly like the women's side. Clarke, winners of 5 in a row. Their last loss came on January 8th to Graceland by a score of 77-76. William Penn, also winners of 7 of their last 8, but they did have a loss last Saturday to Benedictine on the road, 97-91. Though they rebounded on Monday night with a 106-92 dominating win that really wasn't that close against Graceland down in Lamoni. They'll be looking to beat a Clarke team here tonight that they took down back on December 2nd by a final of 99-84 up in Dubuque. But this is a Clarke team that is receiving votes. They are a game and a half back in the conference standings in second place, all alone to William Penn. And as I bring in my partner, Jared Goodman, this is an important game for Clarke because if they want any hopes of a conference title, they've got to be able to pull the upset here tonight.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm expecting nothing less than a game Clarke team. They can come in here and they can really make a statement. You know, this is probably the biggest game to their season up to this point. Statesmen have to come ready to play, come full of energy. Don't take this game for granted. You know, you have that game and a half lead, but this game could go a long ways towards solidifying seeding in the Hart National or the Hart Conference tournament. So
William Penn coming off that victory Monday night down at Graceland, a game that saw them score 60 points in the first half. They were led by the duo of Dexter Hood and Kavion Blaylock. They combined to score 63 points on 16 of 18 shooting. And when those two guys get going, this is a William Penn team that is dangerous and hard to stop.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're talking about two guys that just bring a physicality and hard-nosed game of basketball to the court night in and night out. They both go up. They both get rebounds. They both have the ability to put the ball in the basket when need be. The Statesmen will have to turn to them a lot this afternoon as they're going to be squaring off with Darius Lasley, the leading scorer for this Clarke team. He comes in averaging over 17 points a ball game and is also a leading rebounder at 7.5 rebounds per game. So we're going to need big production out of those two guys like they have done the last couple of games. Dexter Hood coming off a 37-point performance. And
this is a Clarke team that you take away that Missouri Valley game on January 25th, averaging well over 80 points a ball game. In their last 5 victories, Evangel, they scored 95. Grandview, they scored 108. Followed that up with 82 against Central Methodist. Again, the 70-point mark for Missouri Valley, and then 94 against Mount Mercy. This is a team that William Penn has to come ready defensively tonight, and they have to be locked in because this is a Clarke team that can put up points with the best of them. Probably one of the few teams that can run and score with William Penn.
Yeah, and I think you might see that. You might see them, come right out here trying to make a statement.
Take a look at tonight's starting lineups. First of all, for the visiting pride of Clarke, 15-6 overall, 11-4 in conference play. Their starting 5 looks like this. Nick Marshall, a 6'5 sophomore from Greenwith, Australia. He'll be joined by Darius Lasley, the 6'2 senior from Tama, Iowa. He's the leading scorer, leading rebounder, leading assist getter. Does all things for this Clarke ball team. Darius Lasley. Jordan Lake, the 6'1 sophomore from Peosta, Iowa, will start. He'll be joined on the front line by Keith Johnson, a 6'4 sophomore from Dubuque, and Josh Meyer, a 6'8 junior guard from South Wayne, Wisconsin. For head coach Jim Blaine, assistant coach is Charlie Walrap. Those are the pride. Here are your Statesmen, 18-2 overall, 12-2 in conference play. Familiar starting 5 as Kamari Newman will start in the backcourt, the 6'4 junior from Detroit, Michigan. He'll be joined by Chance Crusoe, the 6'1 freshman from St. Louis, Missouri. Dexter Hood, the 6'4 senior from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, coming off of a 37-point performance on Monday night. He will start alongside Kavion Blaylock, the 6'6 junior from Houston, Texas. Blaylock had 26 himself on Monday night. And Nathan Gearing, the 6'10 junior from Waukee, Iowa, will start in the middle. For head coach John Henry, associate head coaches Blake Sandquist, assistant coaches are Don Hickenbottom and Justin Wyatt. Graduate assistant coaches are Cooper Murphy and Brian Rick. Hood leads this team with 19.2 points a ball game, 6.5 rebounds a ball game. Chance Crusoe, 5.5 assists a ball game to lead William Penn. As not sure how much he'll play, if any, but good to see Q Cager back in uniform for this Statesman group, as he's been fighting an injury. He is back in uniform, went through warm-ups, looks to be moving around okay. William Penn still without the services, though, of Ahmad Pender.
Yeah, and Kylie, good point you brought in about Q. Good to see him back. We saw it a bit last year. I wouldn't say they've struggled without him, but there's definitely been a different dynamic to this offense when he is involved and he's in the game. He does bring an extra gear that the Statesmen will need down the stretch.
Clarke in the traveling Navy uniforms with white lettering, white numbers, and white and gold trim. Clarke across the chest. William Penn in the alternate gray uniforms here tonight, as they have Navy lettering, Navy numbers, white trim. Statesman across the chest, and what I'm going to call a leopard print design down the sides.
Is it leopard or is it
I don't know
elephant?
Maybe it's elephant. Elephant, leopard, camo. It's a combination of all three, I'm going to call it. But they're in the alternate light gray uniforms here tonight. I think they maybe pulled these out maybe once or twice already this year, but haven't worn them a lot. They keep them out for special occasions. And William Penn, as Gearing wins the tip, he actually had nobody jump up against him. And William Penn goes on the attack, looking to increase their lead in the conference standings.
Clarke
a win tonight would give them a 2.5 game lead over Clarke and Benedictine. Here's Blaylock inside and right away scoring off the feed from Crusoe. Blaylock was all alone underneath. Kavion did not play in the first matchup between these two teams.
Yeah, and what an addition he's been this second half of the season. The man can really do it all.
And you can see him as he plays more minutes and gets more comfortable, his confidence rising. Probably his best game of the year on Monday night down in Lamoni, as he scored 26 points on 6 of 8, or actually 7 of 8 shooting. Actually made his first 5 shots of the game. Here's a 3 on the way from Clarke, and it's Nick Marshall knocking it down, and Clarke with their first lead. Here's Gearing on the inside, backing down, turns and puts it up too strong. As good defense from Josh Meyer. And Clarke will bring it into the front court. This is a Clarke team that is receiving votes in the latest poll. So obviously they're getting some recognition nationally. Here's a jumper from Marshall that's no good. And Blaylock with the rebound. Here's Dexter Hood stepping into a left wing 3. It's short. And Marshall clears. William Penn. Not quite the start we saw from them Monday night down at Graceland.
That's not quite the start we saw a couple of games ago down in Atchison.
Let's not even think about that. Here's a 3 on the way, no good. And Dexter Hood with a rebound. William Penn looking to run as Crusoe hands off to Newman. Newman struggled from the field the last couple of weeks. See if he can get going again with his shot. Here's Hood with a shot fake and a drive. Has it poked away from behind. It's out of bounds. It'll stay on this end. There's Crusoe with it on the right wing. They look inside to Gearing. Gearing with a couple of dribbles. Looking now out to Crusoe. Crusoe got to let it go as the shot clock was winding down. William Penn did not realize it, and Coach Henry asking Gearing, don't stand there in the lane and hold it for so long. If it's not there, move it. As William Penn turns it over with the shot clock violation.
Yeah, somebody's got to also help out Nate in that situation. I mean, you got to see more movement off the ball. Somebody's got to recognize that he's kind of in a stalemate, and somebody's got to help him out.
There's a bad pass, a near steal, but it goes right into the hands of Lashley, and Lashley scores underneath, and a foul is going to be called as Blaylock got him with the body.
Darius Lashley, leading scorer for this Pride team, also a very good free throw shooter, 80% on the season.
And Clarke, after falling behind 2-0, out to a 6-2 advantage after the 3-point play from Darius Lashley. Here's Newman, puts it on the floor, pulls up from the baseline, too strong. And the rebound comes down to Jordan Lake. One and done here in the early going for William Penn. Here's Lake. Now here's a drive from Johnson. Out it comes to Marshall. Lake's got it on the wing, 12 to shoot. He'll let it go with a three. It's no good. And Hood with the rebound. Here's Dexter on the attack, driving inside and scoring. Dexter just put it on the floor and went hard to the basket. And Dexter with his first field goal.
Sweet little baby hook finish there with the right hand. Had to kind of cradle it back over to the defender. Able to throw it up and in off the glass.
Here's Lastly, thought about a three. Instead hands off to Meyer. And now we got a foul underneath, as that's going to be on Gearing. That's the third foul on William Penn already. 3.5 minutes in. Late starting ball game, as our first ball game tonight went to overtime. Here's a quick three from Johnson off the inbounds. It's no good. And the ball last touched by Clarke will go the other way. And Coach Henry going to call a quick 20-second timeout. Not real pleased with the start here in this one. There's just not a lot of intensity from these two teams here, which is kind of shocking, knowing that it's the top two teams in the conference.
Yeah, and you thought that both teams would have come out a little bit more fire, a little bit more oomph in their step.
16:31 to play. Clarke with a 6-4 advantage, as William Penn has been a little sluggish offensively.
Yeah, just neither team really into their offensive rhythm. Both teams like to run. Yeah, been some sloppy rebounding play, I'd say, from both teams. Not able to really get some clean rebounds to get out in transition and really run. But at the end of the day, you got to put the ball in the basket, and that's not necessarily happening either.
Slight delay as there's some moisture on the court out where William Penn had huddled. As they get that wiped up and taken care of. It'll be William Penn basketball. Trailing 6-4, 3.5 gone here in the first half. It's William Penn and Clarke, the top two teams in the conference standings coming into tonight. Battling it out tonight here in Oskaloosa. Here's Blaylock on the attack. Pulls up and gets the roll.
Good looking mid-range jumper there from Kevion Blaylock.
His second field goal, and we're tied at 6 here early on. Here's Lake with the basketball out top. Now here's a back cut by Johnson, but he threw it away. Got inside into no man's land and threw it away. Here's Dexter Hood out ahead of the defense, scoring. Nice pass by Gearing. Hit the floor through some contact, but was able to get the pass up ahead to Dexter Hood, who was able to finish at the rim. So it's the duo of Blaylock and Hood again scoring the first 8 for William Penn.
Good hands there from Shannon Crusoe, almost like he had eyes in the back of the head.
Here's Marshall with the basketball. He swings it around, and the three is good from, that's Dylan Curry, a 6'8 sophomore from Kaukauna, Wisconsin. He checked in at that last whistle.
Curry has the ability to knock down threes. He's a 43% shooter on the year.
Here's Blaylock misfiring from the wing. And back come the Pride. Here's Marshall driving inside around Blaylock and scoring as Blaylock got beat off the dribble. As William Penn just looks to be a little flat here in the early going. Here's Crusoe driving in. His floater off glass is good. As Crusoe doesn't look to score a lot.
We've seen him go scoreless in a couple games where he only attempts 1 or 2 shots, gets that one to go. But his role is to facilitate. They're electing to take the aggressive offensive play.
Here's Marshall putting it on the floor against Blaylock. Blaylock has to let him go. He's got 1 foul already. And now an offensive rebound for Curry. Curry with 5 points off the bench early. Clarke maintains their lead. It's 3 at 13-10. Here's Crusoe with it. He'll drive inside, and a whistle before the shot. That foul's going to be called on Jordan Lake as substitutions now for William Penn as Brandon Faison and Eddie Daly check in along with Q Cager. So Cager seeing action here early as Coach Henry looks for a spark with his group. And we're going to have a moving screen away from the basketball. This one's going to be on Eddie Daly. And we'll come back the other way. Lake into the front court. He goes around the screen, drives inside against Faison. His shot blocked away, though, by Brandon. Brandon tries to save it, but can't do so. And it's out of bounds. It'll stay with Clarke. Lasley will inbound. Looking. Now we'll allow it out to Marshall. Here's Curry with it. He'll put it on the floor. Now Gabe Shields back to Curry. 7 to shoot. Clarke. As Shields has it, he forces one up, and it's good. Gabe Shields, a sophomore from Tama, Iowa, off the bench and immediately getting a bucket to go down.
Shields only averages about 2.5 points a ball game.
Here's a bad pass as it goes off the hands of Gearing, running the other way, and a block from Cager. Stops the layup, but it's out of bounds. It'll stay here.
Well, the ankle appears to be fine. Maybe not 100%, but he was able to get up on that one and elevate for that block.
Josh Watkins checks in, as does Malik Thomas. So a fresh 5 out there right now for William Penn. Here's Lasley with it. He'll step into a 3. That's good. Darius Lasley with 6 points. It's a 9-point lead for Clarke. Here's Malik Thomas in the corner. They go inside to Daly. Daly spins to his right and scores. Pretty move there by Eddie Daly. Used the ball fake to the left. Got the defender leaning and then spun to his right to finish. Here's Lasley behind the back pass. Somehow that found its way to Shields. Curry airs it out. And here's Watkins into the front court. Watkins, he'll step into a 3. It's no good. And the rebound taken by Marshall. Here's Lasley, shot fake, drives inside and scores. Lasley came down awkward. He's limping a little bit on that right ankle.
He's crafty when he gets the ball in his hands. It's Lasley.
Here's Cager putting it on the floor and drawing contact against Gabe Shields. And that's going to be the first on Shields as Keith Johnson and Josh Meyer check in for the first time, as well as Xavier Johnson, a sophomore from Milwaukee. As Faison pass into Daly. Daly in the corner, a 3 on the way, no good. And the rebound comes down to Josh Meyer.
Coach Henry visibly frustrated with the offense.
It seems like a lot of one-on-one right now, not working within the feels of the offense. Here's a 3 from Shields, no good. Rebound tapped up and finally grabbed by Malik Thomas. Here's Faison into the front court. Whips a pass over to Cager. His left wing 3 is no good. And Daly going to be called for the foul. Going over the back, and that's his second. And with 11:32 to play, Coach Henry going to call a full timeout as he is not happy with the effort right now from his group. 21-12 our score. Clarke on top. We'll take a timeout as well. You're watching William Penn basketball on the Statesman Sports Network. Well, for as efficient as William Penn was in that first half against Graceland, it has been the exact opposite here tonight, as William Penn with just 12 points through the first 8.5 minutes. Again, if you think back to Monday night, here's a block by Daly, and it's out of bounds, so it'll stay here. With 11:17 to play, William Penn's got 12 on Monday night. With 9.5 to play, William Penn had 40. So a complete reversal here so far tonight as William Penn struggling on the offensive end. Here's Meyer inside. Pass out, and the baseline jumper is no good from Xavier Johnson. Here's Faison driving inside, dishes off to Gearing, and Gearing put it up too strong.
Crafty pass there from Faison going behind his head. Found an open Gearing. Gearing just unable to finish.
Here's a three from Johnson, no good. Malik Thomas with the rebound. Here's Cager on the attack. He finds Watkins. His three from the corner, no good. Well, the shots right now for William Penn not falling. As Clarke has a 9-point lead. Here is Lake with the basketball. Over it comes to Gabe Shields. Shields lost his footing but got it to Johnson. That pass inside, tipped out of bounds by Thomas.
You know, Kylie, Statesmen are fortunate that the last couple of times down, Clarke hasn't been able to really extend this lead and knock down a couple shots. Otherwise, could be looking at a double-digit deficit as it stands at 9 right now.
Marshall to inbound. Lobs it out to Keith Johnson. Johnson dribbles right, goes behind the back. Thomas stays with him, and the shot clock violation. I don't think Keith Johnson had any idea where the shot clock was, as he wasn't even looking to shoot the basketball.
And there's just got to be a little bit more communication if you're the Pride in that situation, letting them know what the shot clock's at.
Here's William Penn back offensively. Gearing inside, and he scores. Nice find by Brandon Faison, and Gearing skies high and lays it in with the left hand. Now a steal and a turnover. Watkins bounces up ahead to Thomas. Thomas blocked by Marshall, but a foul is going to be called, and that'll send Malik Thomas to the free throw line. When we come back, 9:44 to play. 21-14 our score. You're watching William Penn basketball on the Statesman Sports Network.
Be sure to stop by the William Penn apparel store out in the lobby. Also, the kinesiology club is selling them 50/50 raffle tickets. Wave your hand if you'd like to buy one of those tickets, and they'll come looking for you.
Out of the media timeout, Malik Thomas will be at the free throw line. After the steal and run out from Watkins, Thomas had his shot blocked, but a foul was called. He's at the line for two. Slow start here tonight for William Penn offensively. Free throw from Thomas is good.
Thomas on the season is 70% free throw shooter.
Thomas doesn't get the roll on the second one. It's out of bounds, and we're going the other way. Gearing, good job in there battling for the offensive rebound, but couldn't get it. As Clarke, leading by 6, has the basketball. Now here's a bad pass and a turnover. Cager running the other way. And Cager hammers it down with two hands. Maybe that gets William Penn going as Cager with the run out and slam.
Good defense equals easy offense. And
Faison went for a steal, didn't get it. Here's Marshall, thought about a three. Instead gives way to Johnson. Here's Shields. Shields lets Cager fly by and hits. Cager went with the shot fake. And Shields stepped into it and put it in. Here's Faison with the dribble out top. Skips it to the corner and Thomas. Thomas drives baseline and a foul is going to be called on Xavier Johnson, who bumped Thomas along the sideline. As Jordan Lake and Dylan Curry check back into the ball game. And a bad pass, and that's going to be over the back. The official, Coach Sandquist, claiming it was tipped, but none of the officials saw it, I guess, and it's a turnover. As the pass in the corner sailed into the backcourt, but nobody saw a tip, so it's a turnover on William Penn. Dexter Hood and Kamari Newman back into the ball game now for the Statesmen. As we hit the 8.5 mark here in the first half, 24-17 is our score. Lake's got it out top, guarded by Dexter Hood. He'll go around the screen. Here's a three on the way and off the mark. Rebound tapped though and taken by Marshall. Keith Johnson on the second opportunity misses. Back comes William Penn. It's Faison into the front court. Faison pulls up from 8 feet and scores.
Good decision there by Faison. Everybody crashed down low towards Gehring, kind of leaving us some open space, and he was able to pick and pop and knock down the mid-range jumper.
First points of the night for Brandon Faison. Marshall got it back for Clarke. They go inside to Curry. He's going to post up on Gehring. Here's a three that's no good from Lake, and a foul on the rebound is going to be called on Dylan Curry. And William Penn will come back with 7:40 to play here in the first half. Clarke on top, 24-19. Here's Newman, a shot fake. Now he will fire up a three, and it's no good. Rebound tapped and taken by Clarke.
I think Newman just needs to see one go in the basket at this point.
He was out of the locker room at halftime Monday night way before anybody else was, working on his shot. Hit a couple in that second half of that ball game on Monday, but it's been a struggle here as of late for that young man. But shooters got to keep shooting at some point. We'll find it again. Here's Curry inside, missing off the glass. Gehring clears the rebound. Here's Faison. Now Cager has it. Cager whips a pass inside to Gehring, and Gehring with the two-handed hammer. Pretty pass there from Q Cager as he whipped the left-handed pass in there to a wide-open Nathan Gehring.
Yeah, just a phenomenal pass, phenomenal vision and court awareness, finding Gehring.
Here's Shields forcing one up. It's off the mark, and Gehring with a rebound. Faison into the front court for Penn. To a trailing Cager. Cager passes up the three, instead drives inside, and will earn a couple of free throws. Second foul on Shields, and Cager will be at the line when we come back after this timeout. 24-21 our score, 6:12 to play here in the first half. You're watching William Penn basketball on the Statesman Sports Network. Cager at the line.
Cager is 62% free throw shooter on the season.
First one is good.
Averages a tick under 12 points a ball game.
Second one right through for Cager. And now Cager will get a breather as Tavion Blaylock back in the ball game. Cager probably not quite in game shape after missing a few weeks. He'll have to work his way back.
Yeah,
good minutes from him here in the first half, though.
Yeah, good minutes, good energy. I mean, that's kind of what the Statesmen have lacked, and he really came off the bench and brought a little bit of a spark.
Here's Johnson driving, and his pull-up is no good. And Dexter Hood with the rebound. Here's Newman on the attack, driving inside. Can't get it to go, but a foul is going to be called. That's going to be on Curry, I believe. And it is.
That's just smart right there by Kamari Newman. Knows, 2 weeks ago we might have seen him take that shot right there in transition, pull up for the deep three. Instead, he knows he's not necessarily feeling it right now from deep. He's going to go ahead, he's going to get to the hole, and he's going to try to draw a foul or get one to go.
And how many times do you see shooters when they're struggling get to the line, knock down a couple of free throws, see that ball go through the basket, and then go on a stretch? Newman gets a pair. William Penn back on top, 25-24. It's been a while since we've said that. It's 8 straight for William Penn, as they were down 24-17. Marshall driving against Dexter Hood, now backs it out. Blaylock has him on a switch. Here's Marshall driving in, can't get the roll. And William Penn running again. Faison to Newman, right wing, 3-ball, no good, in and out. As Newman shot that in rhythm, just couldn't get it to go down. Here's a drive, and missing on the other end is Levici Williams. Here's Hood taking contact from Marshall, and a foul is going to be called as Marshall couldn't stay in front of Dexter Hood. Dexter at the line. 5 minutes to play here in the first half. First one from Dexter is good. Crusoe going to check in as Faison will get a breather.
Dexter Hood, the leading scorer for the Statesman squad, as we have talked. 67% free throw shooter coming into this one.
Second one rattles around and falls. William Penn with a 10-0 run. They lead it by 3 at 27-24. Here's Levici Williams bouncing inside, and Blaylock's going to be called for the foul on the reach-in. That's going to be 2 on Blaylock.
And now he's got to be careful not to get a third before the half.
There's a dangerous pass, but Marshall able to corral it. Here's Marshall driving inside and scoring. As Marshall just elevated and hammered it home with the right hand as Gearing was there trying to block it. Here's Newman, a 3, no good. And the rebound comes down to Josh Meyer. Here's Gabe Shields with the basketball. Now we got a steal by Newman. Newman all the way to the basket with the left-handed hammer.
Newman taking out some frustration on the rim right there. Good job of him getting back on defense and making a play happen, not hanging his head. Yeah, he's frustrated, but got back on defense, made a play, and he hammered that one home.
Here's Meyer inside, and a foul is going to be called as Crusoe thought he had the tie-up. But they're going to call the reach-in on the freshman.
Going back to Newman, if you're Coach Henry, he's one of your guys. He's one of your guys that's going to help carry this team. And you love to see that effort out of him, even when he's maybe not as confident as he was a couple weeks ago.
Here's Gabe Shields bouncing inside and scoring as he just went right at Kamari Newman. Had him on his left hip. He spun to his right. Clarke back within 1 at 29-28, 3:50 to play first half. Here's Hood to Newman. Extra pass to Gearing, and Gearing will get the and one opportunity. Nice find there as Newman made the extra pass to Gearing.
And you got to love watching Kamari Newman right now, finding other ways to impact the game than just shooting the three ball, making a couple nice passes.
Gearing completes the three-point play. So William Penn slowly and methodically retaking the lead and now extending it to 4 at 32-28.
Yeah, slowly and methodically, two words that
you don't hear with this group very much.
But hey, sometimes you got to find different creative ways to make things happen, and that's what the Statesmen are doing right now.
And you got to give credit to this Clarke defense. They have made things extremely difficult for William Penn on the offensive end. Here's Crusoe, and they're going to reset it. Here's Crusoe to Hood as they're going to run it again. Dexter looking. They run backdoor lob to Gearing, and Gearing hammers it home off the lob from Dexter Hood. You saw that one coming. And Gearing's got 9 all of a sudden, and the lead is 6.
Great athleticism in midair from Gearing, able to get that one to go.
Here's Marshall coming back the other way, missing. Shot from Williams blocked by Hood, but a foul is going to be called. Dexter cannot believe it. But Levici Williams will be at the line for a couple. It's a 17-3 run now for William Penn after they fell behind 25-17.
Williams is a 61% free throw shooter. Pride as a team shoots 74%.
Second one from Williams is right through. So 34-30, 2.5 to play. Before halftime, Crusoe goes to work, passes out to Hood. His three from the top of the key, in and out. And Lake with the rebound. Dexter had a good look at it. Outside shot just not falling right now for William Penn. Here's Marshall. On the switch, gets it into Williams. Williams swings it to the far side, and Lake. He gets it back on the wing. His three no good. And Crusoe there for Penn. Here's Chance. Bounces it back to Newman. Newman, a lot of contact, no call on the shot. And we come back the other way. Here's Lake driving, can't get it to go, but a foul is going to be called. And Jordan Lake will be at the line. Keith Johnson going to check back in at the next chance, as will Eddie Daly. Free throw no good, though, from Lake. Marshall's going to get a breather. Lake gets the second. So 34-31. Final 100 seconds here in the first half. Here's Dexter Hood with it on the wing. 18 to shoot. Dexter steps into a three, and it's good. Finally, William Penn hits one from the outside. Dexter's got 9. That ties Gearing for a team high. And William Penn's largest lead of the game is 6, 37-31. Here's a quick shot from Johnson that's off the mark. Cager to a cutting Daly. Daly can't get it to fall, but he'll go to the line.
Another crafty pass from Q Cager. We're used to seeing these types of passes from Chance Crusoe, but Q Cager showing it off right now as he gives a little smile over to his bench.
First free throw from Eddie Daly, though, is no good. Curry and Xavier Johnson back in there for Clarke. Eddie Daly gets the second, so 1 of 2 at the line for Eddie. It's a 7-point game with a minute to play here in the first half. Here's Lake driving inside, blocked from behind by Crusoe, but a foul is going to be called as Crusoe got him a little bit the body. And that will send Jordan Lake to the free throw line. That's 2 fouls now on Chance. First one is good. Lake, the sophomore from Peosta, Iowa. Best free throw shooter on this team at 84%. And he gets a pair. So William Penn now can go 2 for 1 if they choose as Faison into the front court. Hands off to Newman. Newman has it stripped from behind, and it's out of bounds. As they're going to say that went off the leg of Kamari Newman. As you could tell, they were wanting to go fast for that 2 for 1. But Johnson stripped it and poked it off of Newman for the turnover. Here's Lake driving inside, off the mark, no good. Rebound loose underneath, and it is out of bounds. We're going to go the other way, as they're going to say Clarke touched it last. Here's Faison now for William Penn. It's been an odd half of basketball as William Penn has just looked a little out of sorts, even though they lead it by 5. Here's another turnover as Cager throws it away. Xavier Johnson driving, and they're going to count the basket as he just threw it up when he heard the whistle. And it's an and an and one opportunity for Xavier Johnson. That foul's going to be on Cager. No, they're going to call it on Newman. The free throw, though, no good. William Penn can hold for the final shot if they choose. Here's Newman. He'll put it on the floor and drive. And he'll go to the line. As Newman had no intentions of holding for a final shot in the half. There. First one from Kamari is good. Malik Thomas going to check in as Daly will get a breather.
Statesman.
Coach Henry wants to go some defense.
Statesman electing to go small here.
And Coach Henry wants more quickness for defensive purposes here for the final 21.6. As Meyer checks back in there for Clarke. As Coach Blaine counteracts with some size for his squad. Newman misses the second. Nick Marshall with the rebound. Final 15 seconds of play here in the first half. As Lake has it on the wing. Lake guarded by Faison with 5 seconds. Lake drives inside against Hood. Can't get it, but Meyer there for the follow. His putback no good. Faison launches it. And it's off the front of the iron as the half comes to a close. William Penn and Clarke locked up in a good one. 39-35 our halftime score. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with first half stats in just a few minutes. You're watching William Penn basketball on the Statesman Sports Network.
The Ottumwa High School dance team, coached by Zayna Lippincott and Andrea Hitch. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last week, the William Penn University men's volleyball team have played their first ever games. The Statesmen, led by Coach Luke Bentley, have players on the team from 2 different countries and 5 different states. Made up only of freshmen and sophomores, this team will continue to grow up right before your very eyes. Head to statesmanathletics.com, check out their schedule and all the home contests they have. You won't want to miss this exciting new sport on this campus and this amazing group of student athletes. Ladies and gentlemen, your first ever William Penn University men's volleyball team. And their coach, Luke Bentley.
Got your winner ready?
We'll go this first and then, yeah, and then we'll do that.
All right, Statesman Nation, since it is dressed like a coach night, we want to give special recognition to those fans who dressed as their favorite coach. All right? So first up, we have our women's golf team. Women's golf team, can you come on out here, please? Give them a round of applause first off. Season's about to start. They are dressed as their favorite head coach. Head coach Bailey Rhymes, give them a round of applause right there. They look pretty similar. Bailey, get a little picture with your team. They look like twins. Will the real Bailey Rhymes please stand up? All right. Next one, we have Whitney Steinloggy. Whitney Steinloggy, can you come on out here? Give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. She's dressed as her favorite head softball coach, Coach Christian. Coach Christian, stand up for us so we can get a little give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I love the bat, I love the softball. Continue waving around, going home or something. All right, next one. And I really like this one. This is attention to detail, folks. We have Wyatt Steinloggy, dressed as his dad, our sports information director, Wayne Steinloggy. Give it up for them. Look at it, he's got the props and everything, ladies and gentlemen. And this is waited 20 years, ladies and gentlemen. With those 2 a.m. emails, he gets hurt real quick, that's for sure. All right. Last but not least, we have Grayson and Hudson Sandquist. Grayson, Hudson, come on out. And they are dressed like Big Big Brown, associate head coach Blake Sandquist. Give it up for them, ladies and gentlemen. I love the suits. I love it. Men's Warehouse Kids Edition, that's for sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we need your help. I need to figure out who is the best dressed coach, and by your round of applause, we will decide the winner, all right? So first up, we're gonna give it up for our women's golf team dressed as Bailey Rhymes. Give it up. You like this one? Okay. Our next one, we got Ryan Steinloggy dressed as our sports information director. Give it up a round of applause. Next up, we got Whitney Steinloggy. This is my favorite head softball coach right over there. And last but not least, we got Grayson and Hudson Sandquist. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a unanimous tie. I think that everyone did awesome. What's going to happen is everyone's going to get gift cards for our team store. I like it, all right? Yeah, so all the kids get gift cards, all right? And Sandquist for the winner. All right, give it up for these folks, ladies and gentlemen. Last but not least, what I need is a Go Statesman Go. All right, can you do that?
Central Methodist. Got a 3-game homestand next Saturday. The Statesmen are on the road to Evangel, and then Wednesday at Grandview.
Welcome back inside Penn Gymnasium, about a couple of minutes away from the start of the second half. William Penn and Clarke in men's basketball action. William Penn trying to increase their lead in the conference standings. And just talking with Coach Henry there briefly a few minutes ago, no offensive rebounds in that first half for William Penn. That might be a first in my time doing this, that this William Penn men's team has gone an entire half without grabbing an offensive rebound. And they're 1 of 13 from 3, but yet, Jared, they still lead it by 4.
Yeah, very, very, good effort from them. Statesmen, they didn't get the three-point shot to fall, didn't grab any offensive rebound, but they still found a way to get creative and find ways to score and, keep themselves in this ballgame. Not only keep themselves in this ballgame, but be leading this ballgame coming in the second half. But, yeah, the failure to grab an offensive board is extremely surprising. And you look at the second chance points, Clarke has 13 second chance points. And the Statesmen have 0, of course, and the bench is also getting outscored. So looking for the Statesmen to clean it up here, particularly on the boards. They're getting out-rebounded total as are on the game, 24-21. So see if the Statesmen can, kind of just get some offensive flow, and, grab some rebounds, get in transition, really finish.
If you're Clarke, how disheartened are you knowing that you really didn't play that well, but yet you don't give up any offensive rebounds? Penn's shooting 1 of 13, but yet for Clarke, they're still trailing.
Yeah, it's tough. You kind of go back to the locker room or coming out for the second half, scratch your head a little bit, like what do we got to do? Get over this hump. I mean, it just shows the incredible talent, the incredible depth that this Statesman team has. They could, be on paper, be down in almost every category and still find themselves ahead. Team that knows how to win.
Should be a good second half as Clarke gets the basketball to start. Starting 5 out there for both sides. We get a whistle right away from the basketball. They're going to get Hood on the foul. And so Dexter picks up his second right away. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come here in the second half. Here's Johnson with the basketball, guarded by Blaylock. Here's Marshall. Was open momentarily, passed it up, instead drives inside, and a foul is going to be called on Kamari Newman. A late whistle, and that's number 3 on Kamari, or number 2 on Kamari, excuse me. And 15 seconds in, we've got 2 fouls on William Penn, and Marshall's at the line. First free throw is good. As is the second. 39-37. Clarke within 2. William Penn, their first possession of the half. Rousseau's got it on the left wing. They lob it into Blaylock. Blaylock, and we're going to have a foul on Meyer, I believe.
Yeah, Meyer.
This may be a very slow-moving second half if the whistles come at this pace. Free throw from Blaylock is good. Second one from Blaylock right through. So Blaylock's got 6 points. As both teams get free throws on their first possession. Here's Marshall inside. Tough shot as Blaylock was there defensively. And Marshall put it up. No good. Here's Newman, a quick three that's no good. Boy, that could have been called offensive interference. As Blaylock with a block, and we got a whistle and a foul going to be called on Rousseau underneath the basket. Marshall's first free throw is good. Marshall gets the roll on the second.
One possession game now.
4 fouls combined in the first minute here in the second half. 41-39, 18:54 to play. Here's Blaylock, dribbles to his left, hangs, shoots, no good. And the rebound comes down to Keith Johnson. Here's Lake into the front court, no hurry. Are the Pride. Here's Johnson getting it inside to Meyer. Meyer turns and shoots over Gearing, but left it short. Here's Rousseau on the attack. His shot partially blocked by Meyer. Hood gathers it in. His putback is no good.
Once
Here
again,
comes
kind
Clarke.
of a sluggish start for both sides once again. Already a relatively low scoring game.
Here's Gabe Shields inside, and he scores. Gabe Shields, the sophomore off the bench. Doing good work for Clarke here in this one. We're tied at 41. Here's Gearing inside. Spins, shoots, no good. And the rebound taken by Lake. Here's Lake into the front court. They swing it around to Shields. Shields had an open look. Passed it up. Keith Johnson, he'll let it go. And William Penn throws it away on the other side. Well, much like what we saw in the first half, William Penn sluggish to start.
You're just kind of forcing things right now. Let things get out on defense, let things come to you, get out and transition and run.
Here's Lake. He whips a pass to the baseline. And driving in and scoring is Dylan Curry. William Penn just looks flat. Here's Dexter Hood with it left wing. A little stop and go move. Dishes off to Gearing, and Gearing flushes it home. He's into double figures with 11. And with urging of Coach Sandquist, telling his guys, let's get a stop and let's pick up the intensity on this end of the court. Here's Lake driving right around Dexter Hood and scoring. Dexter got caught cheating, looking the opposite way. Lake realized it. And with that quick first step to his right, he got around Dexter. And now has a chance at a three-point play. Brandon Faison and Eddie Daly check in. Crusoe and Gearing get a breather. As Q Cager going to check in as well. Dexter Hood will get a breather. And Coach Henry's going to call a timeout. 46-43, Clarke on top. We'll take a timeout as well. You're watching William Penn basketball on the Statesman Sports Network. It'll be William Penn basketball. Out of the timeout is Coach Henry and his staff right now searching for answers and ways to try and get this team going. Here's a double screen out top. They run a backdoor lob to Blaylock, and Blaylock is bumped by Curry and the foul. But boy, I tell you what, Blaylock had bad intentions for that basketball had he had been able to continue his momentum to the basket and not get bumped by Curry. My goodness.
He's so sneaky with his athleticism. I mean, you look at him, he's just so smooth, so deceptive. You see a guy like Q Cager, really hoppy, bounce around the court. You see it, that's his athleticism. But, I mean, Kevin Blake's a guy that comes to surprise you with just how athletic he really is.
He makes both free throws. If he had been able to finish that alley-oop,
we might be looking
that may have been the spark that this team needs to get going. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back to that play later on.
Yeah, we might have seen a top play nominee for the Production Trucker NAI Top Plays of the Week.
Here's Marshall, though, on the other end. Give Clarke credit. They're hanging around. They're playing with confidence. Here's a three from Eddie Daly that's no good. Cager chases it down in the corner. And Blaylock missed a bunny. And Blaylock mad at himself. Here's Marshall driving inside. Can't get it to go, but he'll go to the line as the foul going to be whistled on Eddie Daly. That is 5 fouls on William Penn already.
And you can
we
see
are just over 4 minutes into the half.
You can see the frustration on Coach Henry's face. He is not pleased right now. He's just looking for somebody, to give the effort he's looking for.
Malik Thomas checks in as Eddie Daly. That's 3 fouls. He'll take a seat. After the free throws, Clarke now with a 5-point lead, 50-45.
And just like that.
Here's Faison with it out top. Over it comes to Newman. Newman rises up with a 3. It's off the mark. And the rebound taken by Levici Williams. Here's Lake driving inside again. This time missed it. Got his own rebound, though. Can't go. Williams, a third opportunity, no good. And Malik Thomas finally grabs the rebound for William Penn. Here's Blaylock. They lob it out to Thomas. Now they'll swing it over to the left side, and Brandon Faison. His three on the way. Good. Brandon Faison rises up and hits one. And Coach Henry urging his guys to guard off the dribble. Here's a three on the way. No good from Shields. Marshall, though, with an offensive rebound. Boy, when you force Clarke to shoot a three from the outside, it's no good. And then they get an offensive rebound. Now we're going to get a carry call on Nick Marshall as the defense from Q Cager forces a turnover. Faison can't get the roll on that pull-up jumper. And here's a foul on Cager as he collided with Jordan Lake. And you just get this feeling that this crowd is just waiting for something to happen to get excited about, but it has just not happened thus far. 14:20 to play. Clarke on top by 2, looking for more as Lake drives in. His shot blocked away by Blaylock. Faison saves it, but right to Marshall. Marshall on the attack. They swing it around to Johnson. Here's Williams, size advantage against Faison. Goes up, blocked again by Blaylock, but he gets his own rebound and puts it home.
Good second and third effort there by Johnson. Or excuse me, that's Williams.
There's Faison with the dribble, lost it, tried to go behind the back and lost it, and now we've got a whistle, and was it a travel? I think Clarke traveled with it after the turnover, and they give it right back.
And you got to really give so much credit to Clarke and what they've been able to do, this Statesman offense. I mean, I think this is the first time all season, Kylie, we've really seen a team that's been able to consistently slow down the pace of the Statesman offense. You know, we've seen Statesman, go through stretches where it's not hitting shots, but they have stopped the momentum of this offense.
Here's Kamari Newman on the back cut. Nice bounce pass, and Newman able to finish at the rim. That ties us back up that pulls William Penn back within 2, 52-50. See if that gets Newman going. Now we got a foul out beyond the three-point line. That's going to be number 3 on Kamari Newman.
And that's the last thing the Statesmen need now, is really getting some serious foul trouble. Still 13 minutes left in this one.
Keith Johnson's first free throw is good. Clarke's in the bonus with 13:22 to play in the ball game. William Penn with 17 fouls, Clarke with just 2. So Clarke's going to be at the line from here on out. Just past the 9 o'clock hour. Thanks for joining us on the Statesman Sports Network. William Penn and Clarke in Heart of America Athletic Conference basketball action. As here's a foul away from the basketball. They're going to get Jordan Lake on the hold. Second foul on Jordan Lake. Here's Thomas missing inside. Faison with an offensive rebound, has it stripped on the way up. And then they're going to call a tie-up. Alternating possession will keep it with William Penn. And now we've got a slight delay, not sure what this is. Maybe looking at the shot clock. That sits at 14 right now. Faison to inbound. Here's Newman, top of the key. Over to Faison. His 3 from the left wing, no good off the mark. And Keith Johnson with the rebound. Here's Marshall. Field dribble left side. Step back in the corner, and a long two-pointer is good for Nick Marshall. He's got 17. That's a game high. Here's Cager on the attack on the other end. Out of control, missing it. It's out of bounds. It'll stay here. Coach Henry pleading his case for some calls to no avail. Here's Newman. Shot fake, rises up from the corner. Count it!
And is that what the Statesman needed right there?
The foul's going to be called on Keith Johnson as Kamari Newman finally gets one to go down. And a foul is called. And now we're going to, excuse me, go to the monitors. I guess they're going to look to see if it's a 3 or a 2. Or was the foul away from the shot? Bodies hit the floor in the lane. So I don't know now if they're going to look to see if it's a 3 or a 2 or if it's something that occurred away from the basketball. Okay, and I just saw one of the officials say there's something underneath the basket. That's what they're going to go to look. So the foul actually occurred away from the shot. So count the 3 for Kamari Newman. And then pending the foul, I'm not sure we'll have free throws or if it'll just be William Penn possession since the foul was away from the basketball. Either way, it's 56-53. Clarke on top by 3, but a much-needed three-point shot make from Kamari Newman.
Yeah, that one got the crowd up on their feet. The crowd's been sitting on pins and needles waiting for something to go the States' way. That might have been it right there.
We've had more replay reviews in tonight's doubleheader than maybe we've had all year long. Okay, so yeah, there was bodies down on the floor in the lane, and so there was a foul on Newman on the shot. That's what I thought. So Newman's trying to complete a 4-point play, and what it was is there was bodies on the floor in the lane. So the officials just wanted to go to the monitor to take a look and make sure there was nothing there that needed to be called. And per their review, there was nothing. So Newman with the free throw completes the 4-point play. And we'll see if that gets William Penn going here at the 12:20 mark of the half. Jordan Lake right back for Clarke. It's been too easy getting to the basket for these Clarke players here tonight. William Penn's off the bounce defense has not been good. Here's Thomas airing it out from the corner. And the rebound down to the Pride. Here's Lake driving inside again. This time no good, too strong. Cager running ahead of the pack the other way, laying it in.
Blaylock on the defensive stand. Yeah, you see his size making a difference in that shot.
Cager with 6 points now. Here's Xavier Johnson, though, on the inside, scoring for the Pride. Here's Cager, a little stop and go move out top, a little crossover step, and he scores again. Hugh Cager starting to get that look about him, as if to say, get out of my way.
This is what the States have missed when he's not on the court or he's not in the game. You know, that ability to get to the bucket when you need it.
And now we got an illegal screen on Jordan Lake away from the basketball, as Gabe Shield checks back into the ball game. So William Penn can tie it with a 2, take the lead with a 3 on this possession. 11:05 to play in the ball game. And here's a foul on Levici Williams. As Coach Jim Blaine yells out, there's no reason to make that reach out at the top elbow. So now 6 fouls on Clarke, so both teams will be shooting free throws from here on out. 11 minutes to play in the ball game. Here's Newman. Shot fake. Now drives inside, hangs, put it up, no good. I think Newman was expecting contact, and now we got a foul on Faison, and Newman is on the floor in some pain as he's limping, not able to put a lot of pressure on that left leg is Kamari Newman, and he'll have to come out.
Hopefully he's all right. It appeared maybe he just landed on his knee. knee connecting to the floor or maybe click knees with somebody. Whatever it was, it doesn't feel good.
Lake at the line where he will get 1 and 1. First one is good. He'll get another. Second one for Lake. (62-58) Lake into double figures now with 10. As Clarke just continues to maintain their composure and maintain this 2 to 4 point lead. Now a turnover. Here comes Lake into the front court. Driving right side. Gets in, now dishes out to Marshall. Marshall with a shot fake, drives inside and scores. It's just been a layup drill for Clarke here tonight. Marshall's got 19. Here's Cager on the other end, scoring for William Penn. Well, Cager's getting to the basket. Unfortunately, Clarke is getting to the basket as well, seemingly every trip. Here's Xavier Johnson. Now Lake, he puts it on the deck against Faison. Kicks it out to Marshall. His three-pointer, no good, but an offensive rebound to Jordan Lake. And he will go to the free throw line.
Second chance opportunities and second chance points have haunted the Statesmen all night.
9:48 to play, 64-60 our score. Lake will be at the line after this timeout. You're watching William Penn basketball on the Statesman Sports Network.
Lake at the line.
64-60, Clarke on top with 9:48 to play, and Jordan Lake at the line for a couple of free throws. First one is good. To put this one in perspective, William Penn with 9:48 to play in the ball game has 60 points. On Monday night down at Graceland, they had 60 at halftime. It has been just a complete turn of events here tonight as Faison has it blocked away from behind. William Penn just got to find that spark. Here's Blaylock over to Thomas, top of the key. Now Faison, over it comes to Cager. Cager will put it on the floor, backs his way in, spins, shot up no good, and the rebound to Levici Williams. Well, if William Penn want to make a comeback, it's going to have to start on this end of the court, as they have got to get some stops against this Clarke penetrating offense. Here's Lake into the front court. They go to the corner and Gabe Shields. Lake gets it back. He'll swing it across to Xavier Johnson. Here's Williams on the inside, backing down against Blaylock. Turns high off the glass, no good. But it's out of bounds. Last touched by Penn as Xavier Johnson knocked it off the hands of Q Cager. Shields will inbound as he gets it into Lake. Malik Thomas with the assignment on Jordan Lake. As Lake pulls up from 15 feet, no good. Shields, though, with an offensive rebound. Xavier Johnson, no good. Still loose underneath. Williams had it, but finally Dexter Hood comes out of there with it. Here's Hood on the attack, spinning inside, put it up too strong, no call. Hood gets it back and will now go to the line. And now we've got a whistle as there was some words being exchanged on the inside, I believe, between Blaylock and Williams.
I don't know if it was Blaylock or Hood. It might have been Hood. It's two guys underneath going at it, competing hard. When those things happen, just got to keep your cool, especially in a game like this.
First free throw from Dexter Hood is good. Xavier Johnson checks out. Nick Marshall back into the ball game for Coach Jim Blaine. Second one from Hood is right through. 11 points for Dexter. It's a 4-point game. Clarke on top. 8.5 to play. Still plenty of time. As Marshall gets inside the lane again. Shot fake, now puts it up, no good. Rebound tapped by Thomas into the hands of Kavion Blaylock. Newman, right wing, three ball, way too strong. And it's out of bounds, coming the other way. Crusoe and Gearing back in the ball game for William Penn. Here's a back cut and a poke away from Blaylock.
Good hands there by Blaylock. Kind of at a stalemate in this one. Which team's gonna make the run? The final 8 minutes.
Here's Keith Johnson with the basketball. Out it comes to Lake. In the corner, they go inside to Meyer. Meyer's been quiet. He tries to body up against Gearing, spins with the left hand, shot no good. And the rebound is taken by Kamari Newman. Here's Dexter Hood on the attack, blocked away by Meyer. As Meyer saw that one coming and stepped up and slotted it away.
Been very impressed with the Clarke defense in and around under the hoop. Shot blocking ability of this team.
Here's Dexter Hood with the basketball. Right wing, drives inside around the defender. No call, a lot of contact. It'll stay here though with William Penn. Boy, I tell you, for as many whistles as we got in the first 3 minutes of the half. Here's Gearing. With the pass out from Crusoe, he'll give right back to Chance, and Chance will reset. 5 on the shot clock. Chance got to go to work. Drives inside, and that's going to be an offensive foul. Chance lowered the shoulder into Jordan Lake. And that's an offensive foul on Chance Crusoe. Second foul on Chance. Actually, the fourth foul on Chance. My mistake. 7:16 to play.
See how quickly or when coaching staff decides to replace Chance with Faison.
Here's Lake. They bounce it into Meyer. Meyer spins with the left hand. No good. Hood with the rebound. Here's Dexter. Going the other way on the attack. Drives inside. No good. But Gearing there for the putback slam. And is that the spark we've been looking for? William Penn's within 2.
There's the crowd getting into it.
And now a legal screen going to be called on Josh Meyer. And that's 4 on Meyer. So he'll take a seat as Dylan Curry will check in. William Penn can tie it here. Here's Crusoe with it. Out top. They're going to run a backdoor screen to Gearing, but it wasn't there. They'll reset it now. They get it to Gearing on the block. Gearing against Curry. Spins. Cut off. Lobs it back out to Newman. Newman stands still. Three ball is good. Kamari Newman, about 5 feet behind the line, just kind of stood there as if to say, well, I'm not going to do anything. And then he just rose up and knocked it down. William Penn retakes the lead at the 6:15 mark on the Kamari Newman three.
This crowd really into it.
Well, they've been waiting all night for something to cheer about. Here's a back cut by Curry, but the pass from Marshall is off his fingertips and out of bounds. And Coach Jim Blaine going to call a timeout as he can sense momentum starting to shift. It's 5 straight for William Penn, and they lead it by 1 with 5:56 to play. We'll take a timeout. You're watching William Penn basketball on the Statesman Sports Network. (67-66). William Penn and Clarke. William Penn, 5 straight points they've scored, and they have a 1-point lead and the basketball. Trying to avoid the upset here tonight. Here's Crusoe. Hands off to Dexter Hood. Hood fights inside. And Hood will go to the line for 2. That's the 4th foul on Curry. So both Curry and Meyer, the bigs for Clarke, have 2 fouls. Free throw from Dexter, no good. Second one is good. So Hood gets 1 of 2. It's a 2-point game with 5:45 to play. Here's Jordan Lake into the front court. How does Clarke try to answer? Here's Curry with it. Over to Marshall, top of the key. Marshall guarded by Dexter Hood, drives left. A little scoop layup is good, but wave it off. Marshall had to double clutch, and the turnover as he drugged the back foot. And William Penn can build on their 2-point lead here. Here's Kamari Newman, backing down inside, gets it right back. Now lobs into Gearing. Gearing goes inside, scores, count it. A little 2-man game there from Kamari Newman and Nathan Gearing, as they were patient with it. And Gearing, off the slip cut, took the pass from Newman and in one motion caught it and went up and laid it in through contact. That foul is on Marshall. That's his 3rd. Gearing, free throw good. This was a 66-60 ball game. It's 11 straight for Penn. Gearing leading the way with 16 points tonight. Here's Johnson. His 3 from the top of the key is good as he came across a curls cut. Caught it at the top of the key and drained it. He's got 5, just his 2nd field goal of the night. But that ends the 11-0 run for William Penn. Here's Newman. to Crusoe. They're going to go into Gearing again. Gearing kicks it out to Newman. Newman, a three on the way. No. Crusoe, though, with a weak side rebound. And they're going to call a foul on Crusoe for an offensive foul. And that's going to be number 5 on Chance Crusoe. He is done for the night. Brandon Faison going to check in. It's a tough call on Crusoe, but he will watch the rest of this one.
And I thought it was, a vote of confidence for the young fella, but, you just wondered, was the coaching staff going to take him out at some point?
Here's Lake, a drive and a bump from Faison, but no call. Lake can't believe it. He thought there was a bump. He thought there was a blocking foul on Faison, but instead it's a turnover as Lake stepped out of bounds. Here's Newman. Over to Hood. Hood thought about a three. Instead gives way to Gearing in the corner. Gearing with the between-the-leg dribble out to Newman. 13 to shoot. Newman guarded by Shields. Shot fake and a drive inside. No call. And we're coming the other way. Shields up ahead to Marshall. Marshall shot fake and he scores. And just like that, we're tied at 71. 4 minutes to play. So 5 straight now by the Pride. They tie it back up at 71. Marshall's got 21. That's a game high.
Well, it's a game of runs. This one no different.
Here's Dexter Hood. He'll step into a three from the left wing. It's no good. And then we got a foul underneath on Kamari Newman. And that's going to be his 4th. So Kamari Newman now with 4 fouls. He's going to have to be careful here in the final 3:35. Free throw from Shields is good. Second one right through. Here's Blaylock with it for Penn. Driving in, a little floater is too strong. And Clarke with the rebound. They can increase on a 2-point lead. Now give Clarke credit. They gave up an 11-0 run. They were down by 4, but now they have since answered back with 6 straight, make it 8. So it's an 8-0 run for Clarke. They're back on top by 4. Here's Faison. Inside to Blaylock. Blaylock lost it on the way up. And Meyer with the rebound. Clarke in no hurry whatsoever.
You can't really blame them. Can't let the Statesmen get any sort of momentum back after they have ceased it.
Here is Shields. And they give it out to Lake. 10 on the shot clock. Here's Lake with the dribble. He'll go left, kick it out to Marshall. Marshall lets fly with a 3, no good. That would have been huge for Clarke. Here's Gearing dribbling inside, and a foul is going to be called on Keith Johnson. And that will send Nathan Gearing to the free throw line. Yeah. Had Marshall knocked down that 3, boy, that would have made things extremely interesting with 2 minutes to play. But the miss, and Gearing is going to be at the line for a couple. Down by 4 with 2:17 to play. Timeout on the floor. We'll take one as well. You're watching William Penn basketball on the Statesman Sports Network. Couple of critical free throws here for Nathan Gearing out of the timeout as William Penn trails at 75-71. First one good. Gearing will get another. And Gearing gets two, so 75-73, 2:17 to play. Can William Penn get a couple of stops? Lake will bring it into the front court. He's been solid at the point guard position for Clarke here tonight. Here is Shields as Marshall cuts across the lane. Here's Lake dribbling right, kicks it back out to Meyer. No rush as 10 on the shot clock. Here's a three from Keith Johnson as he rose up, and now we're going to have a turnover as Blaylock is going to be whistled for the travel. And Clarke, with 1:49 to play, is up 5. Keith Johnson with 2 huge threes here in the latter part of this ball game. He's got 8 points, but the last 6 have been huge from that young man, the sophomore from Dubuque. Clarke now in time-killing mode as Lake has it. Lake around the screen, dribbles right side, goes right around Gearing, but missed the layup. William Penn dodges a bullet. They've got a chance. Here's Newman into the front court, drives inside, hangs, no, but Gearing with the follow slam.
That keeps it.
3-point game, 1:12. William Penn doesn't have to foul. They can play defense once again. They've got to stop the penetration, though, from these guards from Clarke. As Marshall has it out near the midcourt stripe. He's guarded by Dexter Hood. 8 on the shot clock as Marshall drives inside, lost it. Loose on the floor, and Marshall is going to call a timeout as he corrals it in the corner. Clarke's going to have 3 seconds on the shot clock. Out of the timeout, good hustle there by Marshall, able to dive on the floor and save the possession for Clarke. See what Coach Blaine will draw up out of the timeout for this possession. Reminder that William Penn basketball will be back in action on Saturday, just 2 days from now, down in Springfield, Missouri, where they will be taking on Evangel. Women will start, note the start times, women at 12 o'clock, men at 2 o'clock. That due to the longer trip, they move the times up. Justin Burtis will have the call right here on the Statesman Sports Network with the women starting at 12 o'clock. And then William Penn returns. Actually, they stay on the road next week, Wednesday, as they'll be in Des Moines to take on Grandview. And then they return home for a 3-game home stretch with Missouri Valley, Culver Stockton, and Central Methodist all coming to town. Lake to inbound, gets it into Johnson. His 3 on the way, no good. Rebound taken by Gearing. Here's Gearing into the front court, driving in, and he draws contact.
I think Coach Henry there is wanting to give the ball up. The Statesman had numbers, 3-on-1 to be exact. He had Kamari Newman out on the wing.
First free throw from Gearing is good. Now, we've seen that occasionally where Gearing sometimes likes to think he's a point guard, and that time, fortunately, he was able to draw contact. He makes both free throws, though. So Gearing now with a smile, and Coach Henry gives him a smile and a high five as well. 78-77. The good news there is they got the turnover and they scored quickly, courtesy of the free throws. So now with just 39.9 on the clock, William Penn is down 1, but they don't have to foul here. They can play defense, get a stop and get a rebound, and then they would have about 10 or 11 seconds on the clock to try and win this thing in regulation.
You're going to need a strong defensive stand here if you're the Statesman. The whole game's going to come down almost to this one possession right here on defense. possession here is going to go a long way in deciding this ball game.
William Penn going to have to find a way to play solid defense without fouling. Kamari Newman not moving very well out there. He was holding his left leg kind of gingerly. That doesn't seem like a good, Newman's limping. He is not good. So William Penn going to have to help defensively with Kamari Newman as he is not moving good on that left leg. Lake's got it, right wing guarded by Faison. They bounce it in to Meyer, and Meyer blocked by Gearing. Here's Gearing losing control of it, and now Marshall is there going to be a foul called? As there again, Gearing got in such a hurry after the block, got the basketball, tried to dribble up court. Good job by Marshall stepping in front of him. And as Gearing tried to make the outlet pass, he turned it over. Okay, and they're going to go to the monitor and look to see if Marshall had possession of the basketball before he went into the backcourt. If they determine that he had possession, then it could potentially be a backcourt violation. But yeah, defensively, Gearing with the block, grabbed the rebound, but then he just got in such a hurry, that instead of outletting the pass to the likes of Faison or Newman or Hood, he tried to take a couple dribbles up court. And then when he finally decided to make the outlet pass, Marshall was there defensively to force the potential turnover. Officials have not gone to the monitors yet.
Yeah, they're probably discussing, what exactly are they looking at here?
Man,
There's probably 2 or 3 different opinions. But you're right, you hit it around the head. In these 2 games, probably had more times looked at the monitor than I can remember.
And the official just said to Coach Blaine that I cannot review that play. So they cannot review the play. It is going to be Clarke basketball. As the official at half court signaling their hand in the direction of Clarke. Coach Henry now getting an explanation right now. So I don't think there was a foul called. I think it's just strictly a turnover on William Penn. And now Coach Henry going to call a timeout. 20 seconds on the clock. As it's a full timeout, we'll keep it right here though. 20 seconds on the clock. Clarke 78, William Penn 77. I think it's going to be Clarke basketball to inbound on the far sideline, if I've understood the officials correctly. William Penn trying to make a comeback, but they're going to have to, if it is Clarke basketball, they're going to have to go for a quick steal if they don't get it. Or no. I'm misspeaking. The official pointed in the direction of William Penn, so it's William Penn basketball. So they're going to say that Marshall did have possession, and then his momentum, taking him from the front court to the back court, results in the over and back violation. So that's a turnover back to William Penn. My mistake, I saw the official point the arrow, and for some reason I thought Clarke was going that way. So it's William Penn basketball with 20 seconds to play, down 1. My apologies.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either, Kylie, so my apologies as well. But that makes things very interesting.
William Penn down 1 with the basketball. Hood's got it out top. Do they wait and let the clock go down?
I think they're just going to wait to see when they get an open shot.
Here's Hood inside, off glass, no good. Rebound loose, grabbed by Marshall, and Marshall is fouled in the backcourt as Hood had a look at it, but he put it up too strong. And then a couple of William Penn players had their hands on the rebound, but could not control it. Well, either way, if Marshall makes them both, it's still just a one-possession game. Could we be heading to overtime for the second time tonight? Marshall's free throw, no good. Missed it.
7.5 seconds, a lot of time, particularly for this Taysom team that can get up and down the court with the best of them.
William Penn does have one timeout remaining. Clarke, nobody on the free throw line. Second one from Marshall, no good. Gearing with the rebound. And William Penn going to get another crack at it as Nick Marshall misses 2 free throws with 7 seconds remaining.
Not only that, they're going to get a crack at the win rather than a tie or a...
The timeout should move the basketball, or maybe that might just be women's basketball where the timeout moves the ball up into the front court. William Penn's going to have to go the length of the court.
That might be...
But what will Coach Sandquist and Coach Henry draw up here?
I think Coach Henry might be talking to the ref possibly about going and reviewing the clock. Or not.
I think he's probably pleading his case, but a little over a second went off after Gearing grabbed the rebound.
In this situation,
and I just saw one of the officials say, do you want to go look at it? And now they will. They are going to go take a look. So Henry got his point across. I wouldn't be surprised if they put on maybe an extra half second or so. But Nick Marshall missing a pair at the line has given William Penn another crack at this. Coach Henry's going to come back. William Penn's going to come back out of the timeout with Dexter Hood, Brandon Faison, Kavion Blaylock, Nate Gearing, and Kamari Newman. Coach Jim Blaine going to counter with Nick Marshall, Jordan Lake, Josh Meyer, Keith Johnson, and I believe it'll be Gabe Shields defensively. Well, much like the women's contest, this men's contest has lived up to the billing. As in the women, it was number 2 and 3 in conference. Tonight, in the men, it's number 1 and 2 in conference. And they are going to put 2/10 back on the clock. So 6.2 on the clock. Wouldn't be surprised to see Clarke apply some full court pressure just to force William Penn to have to touch the basketball and use more clock. And now Coach Blaine going to call a full timeout. So the back and forth continues now.
Some gamesmanship right there. You got him, might as well use him.
Can't take him with you. 77-78, William Penn down by 1. 6.2 on the clock. They will have to go the full length of the court. As they will try to win it here at the end of regulation. William Penn, if you are realistic, you'll say that this team did not play well tonight. But they're going to try and steal a victory out of the grasp of defeat here on this final possession of the ball game. Hood will be the inbounder. 6.2 seconds is an eternity. So William Penn, they don't have to feel rushed to get this shot off. They've got plenty of time. And Clarke will apply some pressure in the backcourt. Dexter Hood will inbound to Gearing. Gearing hands off to Newman. Newman with 4. Dribbles inside. Got it at the wing. Lets it fly for the win. No good. Off the back iron. And Clarke pulls the upset in Oskaloosa. 78-77 the final. Newman lost control of the dribble as he got to the wing, but his defender fell down. Newman was able to gather it in, had an open look for the win, but the shot just kicks off the back iron, and William Penn falls tonight to Clarke. 78-77 the final, and you give Clarke credit. They battled. They played much of the second half without their leading scorer, Darius Lashley, who left with an injury. you give Clarke credit, but if you're William Penn, this one stings a little bit.
Yeah, it does. And, just because you just really feel maybe that you just didn't come out and give your best effort. You can live with a loss where you come out and, you really battle. You really, not to take away anything. They battled. But you just felt like from the start, you just didn't really come out and give your best effort. And unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. It's hard, especially when you have the biggest target on your back in the conference, night in and night out, to give the best absolute effort you could possibly give, especially when you have that target on your back. And Clarke came in, and they're going to, of course, to give their best effort. So, it is what it is. It's a loss. It's not going to determine, anything drastic, I don't think, at this point. It definitely does. It's a big win for Clarke. They definitely moved closer in the hunt for the number 1 seed in the regular season crown. But, Statesman, I think there's a lot of things you can take from this game and learn. And one of those things is that, you got to just be ready to play every night.
And Coach Henry has said that these guys have to realize that everybody has William Penn circled on their calendars. Whether you're having a winning season or a losing season, they know that beating William Penn will get noticed. And Clarke, give them credit. Defensively, they came with a great game plan tonight. They limit William Penn to just 77 points tonight after giving up 99 to this same team back on December 2nd in Dubuque. Defensively, they were solid. William Penn did not play their best basketball game. That is another thing that no one's going to shy away from. They did not shoot the ball very well. Defensively, they were ineffective for a lot of this ball game. They gave up way too many drives to the basket. Off the dribble, they got beat repeatedly. And Clarke, give them credit. Once they got that lead early in the second half, you could see that their confidence and their persona changed, as if to say, okay, we've got some belief we can do this. And they just kept pushing forward. They led by as many as 6 at 66-60. William Penn answered that with an 11-0 run to go up 71, or they led 66-60. William Penn answered that with an 11-1 run to go up 71-67. But Clarke scored the next 8 to go back up by 4. And they just continued to have answer after answer here tonight whenever they needed it. And despite some missed free throws late, they dodge a bullet. And I think if Coach Henry, when we talk to him in a little while, will gladly admit that William Penn deserved to lose the ball game and Clarke deserved to win it. William Penn would have liked to have stolen the victory, and they almost did, as Newman had a shot at the buzzer, carry him off the back iron. But you give this Clarke team credit. They were down without their leading scorer, Darius Lasley, for most of the second half. But they found a way to win, and they make things a little more interesting in the Hart standings now. Clarke now at 12-4 in conference play. William Penn at 12-3. Again, same thing as the ladies with that snow out against Mid-Am, and that game being pushed back a few weeks. William Penn has played one less game than everybody else in conference. But William Penn still with a half-game lead. If you were to say that William Penn wins that game that was snowed out, they would still have a one-game lead in the conference standings.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go back. I'm going to give a lot of credit to Clarke and their defensive plan. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, this is really the first time we've seen all season a team really been able on a consistent basis stop the William Penn offense and really slow them down and force them to slow down and get them out of the rhythm and keep them out of rhythm. Whether you chalk that up as to an off night or a great defense effort, I think it was a little bit of both. But really, credit to the Clarke Pride defense.
Much like we saw last weekend when William Penn was upset on the road down at Benedictine, not a lot of time to dwell on it, as they will have one day off tomorrow to travel, and then they're back in action on Saturday down at the road, down in Springfield to take on Evangel. It was the same as last Saturday when they lost to Benedictine. They had one day to flip the script. They came back Monday and played one of their best offensive games of the year at Graceland. Hopefully, Coach Henry and this group can do much of the same here again, they'll travel down to Springfield tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll be in action Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock against an Evangel team that they played earlier this year back on December 7th. A game that they won here at home, 113-84. They won it handily. But I'm sure Coach Henry will have this team ready because more than likely you will not get that same you'll probably get Evangels one of their best efforts of the year as well on Saturday. They know they're going to see this result. They're going to see the result last week against Benedictine. They're going to know that this is a William Penn team I don't want to say is fragile by any stretch of the imagination, but they're going to know that this team is beatable if you play good basketball, and they're going to come into that, I'm sure, with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, and it's not an easy road trip to make down there. It's 6 hours there. They're going to stay the night, so they can get a good night's worth of sleep, and get up that morning early to get ready to play. But anytime you're going down like that and down south, especially to Evangel and the Mid-American Nazarenes, those aren't easy trips to make. And we've seen them in recent years being able to trip us up on the road. So Statesmen are going to have to turn the page very quickly. And then after that, you have Grandview coming into town. I believe that is on Tuesday, or you're going to Des Moines.
Next week, Wednesday, a week from last night.
Yeah,
they'll be in Des Moines and take on Grandview.
And that, that's, on paper it doesn't look like, a very good matchup, but you can throw all things out when it's Grandview, William Penn. I mean, they're going to have a raucous crowd there, and I believe Grandview beat us there last year.
Yes.
And
yep.
So it's not going to get any easier here in the next week or so.
And Coach Henry said something last week Saturday down in Atchison, Kansas, that really stuck with me. And you're in the second half of the season now. You're seeing teams for the second time. It's no longer a shock. It's no longer, this is a new team that we haven't seen this year. They know what to expect. They know what William Penn likes to do and what they're successful at. These coaches and these teams are making adjustments and making things a little more difficult, maybe throwing some defenses that maybe Coach Henry hasn't seen this year. And they are going to have to make adjustments, and I'm sure they will. Coach Henry and Coach Sandquist will have this team ready to go on Saturday afternoon. We'll try to get a few words from Coach Henry here before we sign off here tonight.
Looks like he's coming down the
Again,
hallway
Graceland,
right now.
78-77 with the victory. They outscored William Penn in that second half, 43-38. We'll get Coach Henry's thoughts here tonight. We'll try to keep it short. Well, I thought so, but he's making his way. Be interesting to see how Kamari Newman's able to go on Saturdays. He's walking across the court right now. He is obviously favoring that right leg. Favoring the yeah, he looks like he's favoring the left leg or right leg, but that guy's a trooper. Look at this. He's out here working on his shot. He's got a bum leg, but yet he's working on his shot. As you know, he's gonna lose some sleep over this. Hasn't been shooting the ball very well the last few ball games, but he's going to keep fighting as any good shooter does. He's going to get some shots up and continue to work. Just need to be careful not to do too much, as Coach Henry unfortunately got stopped on his way here by another local media outlet. So we'll keep talking through this until we can get Coach Henry here. We'll take a look at some stats of tonight's ball game. Nick Marshall led the way for Clarke in victory, 21 points on 7 of 15 shooting. He had 7 rebounds and an assist and a steal to go along with it. 12 points apiece for Jordan Lake and Gabe Shields. Shields all 12 points off the bench. Lastly was held to 8 points, but he just played 8 minutes in the ball game, as again he went out with an injury. 8 points as well for Keith Johnson, 7 points for Dylan Curry, 4 points apiece for Levici Williams and Xavier Johnson. Josh Meyer had 2. Clarke for the game shoots 34% from the floor, 29% from beyond the arc there, 84% from the free throw line, 15 of 17 in the second half alone at the charity stripe was Clarke. For William Penn, they were led in scoring by Nathan Gearing. He had 22 points and 13 rebounds, a double-double for the big fella. He also had 2 assists and a block and 1 steal. 14 points for Kamari Newman. 12 points for Dexter Hood and Q Cager with 10. Those are the double-figure scores for William Penn. Kavion Blaylock had 8 points, 2 of 7 shooting. He had a tough shooting night tonight. He had 4 rebounds. 5 points for Brandon Faison, 3 points for Eddie Daly, 2 points for Chance Crusoe, and 1 for Malik Thomas. William Penn, rebounding numbers are even, 47. William Penn does get 11 offensive rebounds in the second half. But William Penn, in second chance points, outscored 17-9. Clarke's bench outscores William Penn's 27-19. William Penn does have an advantage in points in the paint at 38-34. But in the end, William Penn just unable to make big shots. They were 37% for the game from the floor. They were just 28% in the second half. They were just 23% from 3 in the second half, 3 of 13 for the game. From beyond the arc, William Penn just 15%, 4 of 26. And I don't care how talented you are. When you shoot the ball that poorly from outside, it's going to be tough to win any ball game, as William Penn found here tonight. William Penn, 39-35 in the first half. They were outscored in the second, 43-38, and they fall in the end by 1, 78-77. Coach Henry will be with us momentarily. Last field goal, Clarke, their last field goal at the 151 mark. William Penn at the 111 mark of the second half. Clarke led by as many as 9. That was midway through the first half. William Penn led by as many as 7. That was late in the first half. We had 5 ties, 7 lead changes. The last lead change coming late in that second half when Clarke, after giving up an 11-1 run to fall behind 71-67, they answered back with 8 straight, retook the lead at 75-71, and they never looked back from there, and they win at 78-77. Again, the final. William Penn will next be in action on Saturday afternoon. Again, just 2 days from now, as they'll be down in Springfield to take on Evangel on the first day of February. Women will start that one at 12 o'clock. In their ball game, the men to follow at approximately 2 o'clock on what is their longest road trip of the year. This Saturday, they actually will head down to Springfield tomorrow and stay the night and play Saturday and return Saturday night. Again, Justin Burtis will have the call for you on those ball games from Springfield, as he will be making the trip and bringing that action to you. Then we'll be back on the air again next week, Wednesday night from Des Moines, as William Penn will be on the road to take on the Vikings of Grandview. That game on Wednesday, February 5th. Women at 5:30, men at 7:30. And then this long stretch of road games, 6 of 7, dating back to January 15th, will be over, and they'll have a 3-game home stretch beginning on February 8th. As Coach Henry now joins us, and sometimes you just got to tip your cap. I know you didn't shoot the ball well, but Clarke made big shots when they needed to, and you still almost stole one away.
Oh, I told Coach Blaine, the handshake. Well, let's back up. I told my staff, not just with 6 seconds, but with about 20 when we got that fortunate call there when Nate was dribbling too much again. I said to him, we don't deserve to win this. They really do. And what I mean by that is they lose their best player.
Yep.
And he means a lot to them. 18 points a game, first team all-conference, probably an All-American. And the guys step up. And you know what funny is? Number 24, Shields, is his brother.
Really?
They're from Tama. Shields played for a friend of mine named Dustin Pesca at South Tama High.
Okay.
And lastly played at South Tama before Pesca got the job. And they're brothers. Yeah, they just have different last names. He comes in with his brother gone and does his brother.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, combined they get 20 points, and
honestly, we didn't shoot well, but in the first half we had 0 offensive rebounds.
Yep.
I was amazed we were ahead. I'd never seen that stat before. But in the second we got 11, which is fantastic. But 4 of them are dead ball rebounds, so it's a little misleading.
Right.
But I thought the difference was their dribble drive.
Yep.
The late kid, we couldn't stay in front of him. He didn't shoot the ball well at all, but he was the straw that stirred the drink, dribbling around, creating plays. We could not stay in front of him. We tried switching. We tried going under. We tried different personnel on him. He really did a nice job. And then their offensive reboundings with 15 offensive rebounds is amazing too. And Nick Marshall played well. But this is frustrating because, now we got to get on a bus tomorrow morning, 11:45 a.m., and drive 7 hours to Springfield, and then practice late at night down there, and then get up and play Evangel, who's playing very well. And I'll be honest with you, we've been winning, but we haven't really truly been getting better the last week and a half. You know, we won at Graceland. We were fortunate at CMU. We lost to Benedictine, and it just hasn't felt like it was. I don't know currently what the problem is, but we're going to work to figure it out. But you know, I hope we figure it out soon because they're starting to creep up on us now. This could have given us a big lead, and now we're only up 1 on Clarke. This was a huge game because we beat them. You know, they go to 5 losses. We're at 2. We're up 3. It was the difference between a 3-game lead and a 1-game lead. And now, you know, it's on now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's, again, you shoot just 4 of 26 from 3, and it's going to be tough to win any ball game when you shoot that poorly from outside. And
we were fantastic from the line.
Yeah.
Both teams were. And we never really caught that huge break until that play at half court.
Right.
And I thought, well, wow, you know, maybe that's the break we needed, but then we fumbled it twice. And Mari got as good a look as he's gonna get. It just didn't go in. And as it was in the air, I thought, I think it's going in. And then it didn't, and it's like, we really just lost at home.
Yep.
I'm not embarrassed, I will say that, because I do think that Clarke is really good.
Yeah.
They run their sets, and they're deceptively more athletic than they look. I mean, the old adage of they don't pass the eye test, they don't. But they're really more athletic and stronger than they look. And they've got 2 really good role post players. I can't say enough good things about them. Every single player on their team that played scored at least 4. Oh, no, Meyer only had 2.
Yep.
Everybody else had at least 4, up to 21 from Marshall. So, oh, man, it hurts, but we have 0 time to dwell. You know, and because we do get up tomorrow morning and leave, it's going to be hard to sleep tonight. I hope I can sleep on the bus.
Like I say, that's the good news is turn the page quickly and get ready for a tough Evangel team on Saturday. And still a lot of basketball to play, and you're still in first place, so you take it and move on, I guess.
You're 18-3, you're 12-3 in league. Our league is pretty good, but now you really got to
your margin for error is gone.
Dust your hands off, dust yourself off, and really got to go now. I mean, that's what I said one time during a timeout to the guys. I was like, I think you thought that they were just going to lay down. I think you thought that you could just play and it would be no big deal. And they came here to win.
Yep.
And they punched us in the face 3 or 4 times before we even knew what to do.
Right.
And we had the start of both halves, we were sleepwalking. And we were up 4 at half, and then I look up and we're up 8. And I'm like, what is going on here? But hey, you know, I still like this team. They're fun to be around. They work hard daily. They got good grades at the semester. So, you know, the sky is not falling.
No,
we just got to regroup and get it together because we are 18-3 and 12-3 in league and still in first place by ourselves.
And no better time to get it together than now and get ready for a road trip on Saturday.
I think everybody here
you've raised the bar so high.
We're so used to not losing at home. When we lose, we're far away.
Yep.
And when we lose at home, it's so shocking. Like we lost 5 games instead of just 1.
Yep.
And I said that after Benedictine, but that's a little different when you're on the road against a good team. This is something else right here.
Yep.
So,
all right,
thanks,
Coach.
Kylie.
Thanks for your time always. As William Penn, again, the final 78-77. And I want to take this time to congratulate Coach Jim Blaine and the Clarke men on their victory. I want to congratulate Coach Courtney Boyd and the Clarke women on their victory earlier tonight as Clarke will return home with the sweep. They will return home to Dubuque tonight with a women's and men's basketball sweep tonight here in Oskaloosa against 2 very talented William Penn basketball teams. Again, you heard Coach Henry mention it. William Penn will turn the page quickly as they leave tomorrow morning and head down to Springfield to take on Evangel on Saturday. Again, the women will start at 12 o'clock, the men to follow at 2. 12 and 2. Note the start times. Those games can be heard right here on the Statesman Sports Network. Justin Burtis will be down in Springfield with the call, and then they will be back in action again as well next Wednesday against Grandview. So, for my partners Justin Burtis, Kylie Broadway, I am saying thank you for watching tonight. We hope you enjoyed this broadcast of William Penn basketball. I'll talk to you again next week, Wednesday. But please be sure to tune in on Saturday. Down from Evangel, Justin Burtis with the call of William Penn and Evangel. So long, everybody.